Last time on the Gimmick Sqwuad. In our first episode, it was the final big tournament of Mythical Island, with 4 meta decks oppressively dominating the tournament scene. But the Gimmick Sqwuad decided to bring Pidgey, Venusaur, and Jigglypuff decks to try to put a non-meta Pokemon on top one last time. Unfortunately, our Pidgey and Venusaur players were quickly eliminated, meaning that I, the least experienced member of the Gimmick Sqwuad, had to try to bring Jigglypuff to victory to take it home for the team. With 2 best-of-3 wins already under my belt, including a win against the tournament-winning Celebi deck, I was feeling pretty good, and we left our last episode in the middle of an epic best-of-3 fighting a Pikachu deck. My worst matchup. Can we finish off Pikachu, or are we about to get shocked? Let's find out in this episode of the Gimmick Sqwuad. Game 2 against the guy. I already have 1 win, and this is a best-of-3 round. I put my eggs down on the field. I am hoping that I get Executory Axe really quickly. It's one of the most powerful cards in the game, and it can probably last me until I have enough energy to power up my Wigglytuff. I play Professor Oak and try to get that Executory Axe, but it doesn't come out. I don't even have a Jigglypuff evolution, so what do I do? Looking at my hand, I realize that I only have 1 option that I can play. If I use a leaf right now, I can retreat into Jigglypuff and possibly put Pikachu asleep, preventing it from attacking me next turn. It's a bit of a risky move because if I mess this up, I lose the energy I've attached to the Jigglypuff, but I feel like it's my only hope. The coin flips, and it's tails. Pikachu stays asleep, and my strategy worked. With Pikachu asleep, even if they put the second electric energy on it, it won't be able to attack, so they power up their Zebstrika instead. I'm feeling pretty good about my stall play. It was a risk, but it paid off. I have 1 more turn to stall until I can draw an evolution card that I need. But Pikachu wakes up, and I don't feel like the same trick is gonna work twice. I really don't like burning my leaves in this kind of situation, but I'm a bit desperate. I don't have Executor EX, I only have Wigglytuff. I'm gonna have to win the game with Wigglytuff. That means I need 3 energy, so I decide to retreat my Jigglypuff with 1 energy onto the bench. This means I won't be able to use Sing again, but that's only a 50% chance. Instead, I'd rather have 2 energy on Jigglypuff. I figure my front Jigglypuff goes down, and then next turn I can bring on Wiggly EX, and that's kind of my only hope. It's a high-risk strategy, but because of my bad draws and the lack of Executor, it's really the only thing I can do to win the game. My opponent plays Sabrina. Luckily, I have Execute on the bench, a noble sacrifice that can take the hit from Pikachu and keep my Jiggly online. Eggs goes down, which is not great for me. If my opponent defeats just one of my EX Pokemon, they will win the game, and I need to get 3 prize points. I have 0 right now. I evolve Jigglypuff into Wiggly EX exactly as planned, and I add the 3rd energy, allowing me to use Sleepy Song. Now, remember, I need to get 3 prize points, and I have 0, so I really need Pikachu to stay asleep. If it does, I can take it out for 2 prize points and possibly try for a win, but if Pikachu wakes up, well, I might not survive. But I get the tails. Wigglytuff is pulling full-on Heart of the Cards right now. It wants me to take it. It has the hopes and dreams of all the Gimmick Sqwuad riding on it, and Pikachu stays asleep. My opponent is unable to retreat, so they just power up their second Pikachu. They figure, well, that's no problem, they'll just bring their second Pikachu in, and then I'm in a bit of trouble. Pika wakes up, but that's fine. It's time for me to take it out. I go for Sleepy Song and finish off Pikachu, giving me 2 prize points. Now, I've got a pretty good idea of how I can win the game. If my opponent is not able to put anything else on the bench, or they're not able to evolve that Blitzel, I can use Sabrina and guarantee, 100% guarantee a one-shot, getting my last single prize point and winning the game. On the other hand, if they can put anything tanky on the bench or evolve Blitzel, that's not gonna work. That's fine. That's fine. No! Zebstrika has 90 health. That is 10 more than the damage I can do. This means that in order for me to win, I absolutely have to get another Sleepy Song. There's not really any other option. I decide I need to go for the win. I play Sabrina, hoping that my opponent will foolishly put the wrong Pokemon out. Come on. No, but they're smart. They put on Zebstrika. I didn't want to do this, but you gave me no choice. Sleepy Song. It's a 50% chance to see who wins the game. This coin flip actually decides it. But I already have one win in the bag, and I now have two. With Zebstrika staying asleep, my opponent just concedes, giving me the win. Wigglytuff was super MVP that game, but let's be a little bit honest here. I got so many lucky coin flips. That's not going to happen every game, and I will have to fight other Pikachus. In the meantime, though, I've got 3 set wins and 0 set losses. Let's move on to the next best of 3. Alright, we're on to my 4th set, and remember how I talked about how Pikachu was my worst matchup? Well, you can guess what I'm playing in this set. That's right, it's another Pikachu deck. I have to fight my worst matchup again. Remember, this was back during Mythical Island. There were a lot of Pikachu decks. It was considered pretty good at the time. I draw Budding Explorer and Exeggutor EX, but I've got a bit of a problem. I need my Execute to activate my strategy. I pull Pokeball, but I miss. It's Jigglypuff. That's not the card I wanted. I was hoping to Budding Explorer into my eggs, back like I did in the first episode. But without the combo, I'm stuck with no Wombo. So all I can do is hope that MEWEX can hold out until I can get better cards online. My opponent drops Den on the bench and attacks me with Blitzel, doing a little bit of chip damage. MEWEX can take it, and I can Budding Explorer pretty much whenever I want, so I'm not too worried about that. I play my second Professor Oak. I mean, 2 Professor Oaks, that's so good! And yet, not a single Execute. There's nothing I can do. Without Execute, I can't play Exeggutor, which is really my best answer to the Pikachu decks. I can't rely on coin flips and luck like I did last game. That's just not gonna work for such a big tournament. So I need to think of another strategy. With no eggs even after my second Professor Oak, the only thing I can do, realistically, is put in energy on Mew and hope. Just hope that maybe I can draw the card I need in the next turn. There are only 8 cards left in my deck. I got really lucky with the double Oak. Maybe I'll get my Execute soon. But Zapdos is powering up on the back line, and Blitzel continues to hammer at Mew. This is not a good situation, and I need to make a play soon, but I get my Execute! Alright, very excited, I realize it is time to activate my plan. I decide to put eggs on the bench and give it an energy, and I'm a little bit worried about Sabrina shenanigans, so I decide to give it a Buddy Jigglypuff. I figure if I get Sabrina, then Jiggly could take the hit for eggs could come online, and then I could play my second Jiggly in the back. But Blitzel evolves into Zebstrika, and Zapdos gets another energy powering it up. This is very dangerous, because now Blitzel, aka Zebstrika now, can ignore my Mew and start smacking my very low health backline Pokemon. I need to make a play right now. I immediately evolve Execute into my Exeggutor. I could Budding Explorer into the Exeggutor and charge forward. But if I do, there's no way for me to one-shot the Zebstrika. It just has too much HP. It can then retreat and Zapdos would come in swinging. That's not a great situation. I realize I have to be clever about this and actually use Leaf to retreat Mew so that I can keep it online and power it up with energy if I need to. The idea is then I can use Mew into Zapdos and use Zapdos' own attack against it. But I also put some energy on Jigglypuff, thinking that I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that, and there might be a condition where having Wigglytuff online is actually my win con. So I'm kind of straddling the fence here. I want to leave both options open for the future. Mew strategy, Wigglytuff strategy. And in the meantime, hopefully Exeggutor EX can earn me at least 1 point. My opponent retreats the weak Zebstrika, not willing to give me that prize point. They activate Zapdos and bring its full power to bear against me. Now, even odds I should survive this, but we know what coin flips are like. Whew! Exactly even odds. We managed to live, but Exeggutor is not doing so good at the moment, and I am nowhere near powering up the Pokemon I need. I've got to make a decision. I will only have 2 more turns to put energy on a Pokemon. It either has to be Wigglytuff or Mew. I need to decide right now. I evolve Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff and decide to give it the energy. I realize that the odds of Mew taking me to victory are just too low because its health is really low right now. Wigglytuff would have a 50% chance of putting Zapdos to sleep, and if it takes it out, I might win the game with just Wigglytuff. On the other hand, even if Mew defeats Zapdos, well, there's no guarantee Mew could defeat the next Pokemon, and Mew's health is also a lot lower. I'm starting to run out of time, and I quickly try to retreat into... whoops. You have to remember, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was not the most experienced tournament player on the Gimmick Sqwuad. I ran out of time. I was not able to retreat, I was not able to make any plays. And so, Exeggutor EX is now a sitting duck, and to make matters worse, Zapdos got to retreat away for free. It is now completely safe in the back line, and whatever I put forward will have to fight Zebstrika. This is so bad. I feel so awful. Zebstrika destroys Exeggutor EX, and I've just lost 2 prize points to my opponent. Ugh. This is the kind of thing I will get better with over time, and you'll see that in my future videos. Because after all, you know, I'm editing this in the future when I've already played a few more tournaments, so I can assure you, I will get better. I will! But for now, I'm the plucky noob, and all I can do is knock out Zebstrika for a single prize point. My opponent puts Zapdos down on the field. It could one-shot me if it gets lucky with Thundering Hurricane. But also, this might have been a bit of a mistake. If they had gone for Den, they could have tried to paralyze me, stall for extra damage, and killing Den would not win me the game. I think they got a little bit too eager using Zapdos. Or maybe not. I'm forced to play Mew EX as a result of Sabrina. This means that even odds, Zapdos wins the game right now. All they need is 2 heads, and I lose game 1. We have a Tails, a Heads, a Tails, and another Tails! I get insanely lucky and manage to survive Thundering Hurricane. There is no good reason for me to win this, other than the fact that my gimmick Pokemon appreciate that I'm not playing broken meta cards, and they're trying to help me out. I just got lucky, but we'll pretend that that's what's happening. Heart of the cards, heck yeah! I play Budding Explorer, bringing Mew safely back into my hand, and wondering why the heck I played Execute. That was probably kind of dumb. I play Mew back on the bench to make up for the fact that I should not have played Execute, and give it 1 energy so I could retreat it if I need to. All set up in case something goes horribly wrong, I play Sleepy Song. Realistically, once again, this game is gonna come down to some coin flips. If my opponent falls asleep, I immediately win, but that doesn't happen this time. Zapdos wakes up. To be fair, Mew should not have survived, so it makes sense that Zapdos gets to not fall asleep. My opponent can retreat into Pikachu and make my life a living nightmare right now. Or they can attack me with Zapdos and try to win the game right now. They activate a potion. They activate another potion. This is really big brain, because with Zapdos at 90 health, there is no way for Sleepy Song to be able to knock it out. It's actually impossible. This means that even if I hit it with Sleepy Song, it would have to fall asleep, or it could just retreat safely into Pikachu and be completely fine. Heads, heads, heads. No! I got unlucky, which is fair considering how much good luck I've had so far. Wigglytuff is eliminated, and I lose Game 1. My first defeat in a Game 1. This hasn't happened the entire tournament. It is a best of 3. I'll have 2 more chances to defeat this player in order to try to win the set. But I need to win both of the next 2 games. If I don't, then this is going to be my first loss of the tournament, and 2 losses is almost certainly elimination. Well, let's see what I can do. Alright, going into Game 2, I have to win this if I want to take the set. I play Jigglypuff because it's really my only basic Pokemon, and I'm staring down a Pikachu. Oh no! Once again, I couldn't get my strong Execute start. I have to play with Jigglypuff, which is fair because this is a video all about Jigglypuff. I wanted to make Jigglypuff the hero of the story, so let's give them the chance to be the hero that we all deserve. I play Professor Oak to try to get some more cards in my hand. I get Mew and Wigglytuff EX. With Budding Explorer, I'm realizing that switching into Mew is probably my best bet. We could let Mew tank some hits, but for now, let's try to put Pikachu asleep. My thinking is, if I could get Pikachu asleep and get really lucky, it might stay asleep even after I switch into Mew later, which could buy me more time to power up to Wigglytuff EX. Pikachu's asleep, so far so good. It doesn't really matter for this turn, because Pikachu can't attack me this turn anyway, but if it stays asleep now, it's really good. Come on, come on. Oh darn. Pikachu woke up. I've got to get Jigglypuff out of there. It's just way too risky. I finally get eggs, so I could actually play that instead of Mew. The problem was I can't evolve this turn. So if I put eggs out this turn, it'll die to Pikachu before it can evolve. That means I only have one choice. I once again switch to Mew, the primary tank of this deck, hoping that it can absorb a hit, and then I can switch into something more powerful, either my Wiggly EX or my Execute, next turn. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this setup. I've got Budding Explorer, which is a free retreat, Wigglytuff is 1 energy from activating, and even if they Sabrina me, I could sacrifice Execute and then go into Wigglytuff. No matter what happens, I've got a good start, and I'm very happy with how well all the different Pokemon in this deck are working together to execute an overall strategy. My opponent evolves Blitzel into Zebstrika. They realize that if Wigglytuff gets first strike on Pikachu, it would be really bad. So they use an EX speed to get Pikachu out of there and switch into the Zebstrika they just evolved. Who are they going to attack? No, my eggs! They put my eggs 1 more attack away from being destroyed. I absolutely have to either heal them or evolve them this turn. I evolve into Executor and play Budding Explorer as my supporter card for the turn, allowing me to bring in Wigglytuff EX. And giving it the final energy it needs, I put Mew back on the bench as some support, backup, emergency switch-in, and use Sleepy Song. This isn't the most effective Sleepy Song because even if I take Zebstrika out, it still could, only give me 1 prize point, which isn't that great. But 1 prize point is better than no prize points. Zebstrika stays asleep and I'll take it. Pikachu EX is being powered up in the back line, and it looks like I'm going to be able to take Zebstrika out for breakfast. It stays asleep and I draw a Leaf, which is actually really cool. There's no reason I have to attack with Wigglytuff this turn. Wigglytuff is my best attacker. I want to keep it nice and safe, so I actually decide to retreat Wigglytuff and let Executor EX finish off the Zebstrika. Even if Executor EX goes down, I could then bring in Wigglytuff, the real hero of the deck, to finish off Pikachu. My plan active, I Tropical Smash that Zebstrika all the way to the graveyard, and await Pikachu's revenge. My opponent puts Zapdos onto the bench, but they don't have any other benched Pokemon, meaning Pikachu's attack just doesn't do that much damage. I decide to use Erica to heal up my Executor, and give my Executor another energy. That way next turn, I could give it a 3rd energy and retreat it into Wigglytuff if I need to. 40 damage to Pikachu puts Pikachu exactly in Wigglytuff's KO range. So if Pikachu's still here next turn, I can take it out and win the game. But my opponent is not gonna let me do that. My opponent plays Sabrina, giving me a bit of an interesting choice. But to me, this is no choice at all. I don't want to let Pikachu hit my Wigglytuff, and Mew can retreat for just 1 energy. So I decide to send in Wigglytuff? Why did I do that? This was just straight up a mistake on my part. I was still a little bit new to tournament play at the time, and I just made a massive error. I have no idea why I did this, and I sincerely regret my actions. But that's okay, it all worked out. They decided not to attack me or weren't able to, and I was able to bring Zapdos to the fore. I go for Sleepy Song here, and do tons of damage. If Zapdos stays asleep, I win the game, and even if Zapdos wakes up, I have a great position, so it doesn't really matter. But Zapdos does stay asleep. However, my opponent is not quite done. In an effort to save themselves, they activate Sabrina. I decide to bring Executor EX to the front, although it didn't particularly matter at this point in time, since Zapdos couldn't really wake up anyway. But they used a potion, and another potion, gosh darn it! This meant Zapdos had enough health that it could actually survive even if I hit it with Wigglytuff. So, maybe I don't hit it with Wigglytuff. Maybe Exeggutor just smacks it and the game continues. It might depend on whether or not Zapdos wakes up. Does it? No! My opponent was insanely unlucky here. The sleep continues. One of the benefits of sleep is if you don't wake up, you might stay asleep for several turns. I start powering up a second Wigglytuff to make sure that no matter what happened, I had every tool in my toolbox to take out my opponent. And I go for Tropical Swing. Strictly speaking, Zapdos has another chance to wake up here, and if it does, it can still retreat. It's not too late. But I've got double Wigglytuffs. I've got Exeggutor. I'm ready for this. I figure even if Zapdos is able to run away, I can still win this game. Maybe. Zapdos very cleverly retreats into a second Zebstrika. This will not give me enough prize points to win even if I take it out, so it's a very smart move. I don't have any more Sabrinas I can use right now. I have to fight this Zebstrika even though it is basically worthless to me, just to get it off the field and get back to the Pokemon that actually matter. I go for Tropical Swing and deal massive damage. Not that it particularly matters, at this point any amount of damage would allow Wigglytuff to finish it off, but it is nice that Exeggutor could do the finishing blow if I needed to. Zebstrika goes for Thunder Spear on my Wigglytuff. A smart move, you might as well do some damage before I take you out. I play Tropical Swing, get Tails, that's totally fine though, and finish off Zebstrika. It's not enough to win me the game, but it means that my opponent now has to fight me seriously. Whatever Pokemon I take out will win. I just need one more. A full health Zapdos comes online. Oh my goodness, fighting an electric deck is like fighting several bosses in a row, like in some kind of nightmare mode at the end of the game. Zapdos attacks with Thundering Hurricane. If Zapdos gets 3 heads, my Exeggutor will be instantly eliminated, but what are the odds of that happening? Pretty low. Zapdos only gets 2 heads, so Exeggutor gets to live and fight another day. Its job in all this is really just to tank for Wigglytuff anyway, so I'm totally fine with it taking the hit. I decide to retreat it into Wigglytuff, and then I heal it up with Erica, just in case it has to come back in later. Wigglytuff is the real hero here, and now it's time for it to shine. I go for Sleepy Song, and if Zapdos stays asleep, there is no longer any potions left that could save it. And we finally get the sleep. Zapdos is stuck. There's nothing my opponent can do. They immediately concede the game, and we take game 2. So they have a win, and I have a win. That means whoever wins the next game takes this best of 3. So far, I'm undefeated in terms of sets. I have 3 set wins. Can I make it 4 in a row? This is for all the marbles. This is for who is better, Jigglypuff or Pikachu. I get to go second, which, you know, I kind of prefer going first, but I can live with this. I've got a bit of a choice to make. It's the usual Mew or Eggs choice. I decide to go with Mew first, and I'm a little sad that I don't have my Jigglypuff buddy. But hopefully Eggs can do some work until we can draw Jigglypuff and get Wiggly online. My opponent starts out with Zapdos and Blitzel, a very aggressive opening. They're gonna try to rush me down as quick as we can, and I draw another Wigglytuff EX. That's not super helpful. Putting Eggs on my bench is risky because I don't have the evolution yet. If they evolve that Blitzel again, they could snipe me down before I could do anything. On the other hand, if I don't put it on my bench, then I won't be able to evolve it when I get the evolution card. Feeling that I don't really have any options, I put the energy on Mew, hope to maybe Genome Hack Zapdos, and just wait to see what I draw on my next turn. EX Speed comes out. They got everything they need, my worst nightmare, to start sniping my Execute right away. The damage comes out, and I have to do something. I get a Pokeball, and it's not what I wanted, but it's something. I immediately play it. We get a Jigglypuff. I might not be able to save my eggs, but Jiggly could perhaps be the hero we need once more. I decide to use Erica, that way Execute can live one more turn. And I put the energy on Jigglypuff. I put the energy on Jigglypuff. Come on, past me, put the energy on Jigglypuff. It's really interesting watching these games after a few weeks have passed, realizing that I've gotten a lot better since then. Finally, I put the energy on Jigglypuff. This is a hero's journey story. I'm growing and getting better as I play. I retreat Mew into Jigglypuff and go for Sing here. I realize that there's nothing I can really do to stop Zebstrika from attacking me, since it can hit the bench anyway, so I try to put it to sleep to prevent it from attacking my eggs, and it works! I get the sleep! Zebstrika is stalled for a turn, even though I can't attack it. This was a very bold move and gave me what I needed to buy a little bit of time. And it's still asleep! Even better. I play Professor Oak, but I'm realizing this might have been a mistake as now I can't play my Leaf supporter card. Professor Oak did not give me the Exeggutor I was looking for, and Jigglypuff is kind of trapped. I would have to dump my energy in order to retreat it. Or I could just leave it on the battlefield and hope. I decide to just leave it alone. I figure there's nothing that can really one-shot it on the field right now, so it's probably safe. I want to surprise them with Wigglytuff. Really kind of shock them out of nowhere. Hilariously, Zebstrika stays asleep, so it didn't really matter. I am getting really lucky in terms of the coin flips, but I'm getting really unlucky in terms of the cards I'm drawing. My opponent is building up some powerful stuff, and I still don't have that many options available. Hilariously, my traumatized opponent gets tails yet again. Zebstrika is permanently asleep and cannot escape, no matter what it does. I evolve into Wigglytuff, finally ready to do some damage. But the question is, what do I do damage to? A Zebstrika? No. I want to do damage to a Zapdos. I want to take out one of their EX Pokemon. So let's go Sleepy Song. If my sleep luck continues and Zapdos stays asleep, I could pick off an EX Pokemon and maybe get back in this game. Maybe there's hope. Maybe I have a chance. Oh my stinking goodness! Zapdos stays asleep and I am so psyched. I can defeat it next turn in one single hit. Uh-oh. What's with that Professor Oak you got there? I hope you don't draw anything that could drastically alter the situation. There's Blitzel. Okay, that's not such a big deal. I think we're good here. A potion! Oh no, well, surely you don't have another one. I mean, one potion doesn't make much of a difference. Oh! My opponent drew both potions once again, meaning that Zapdos would be able to survive this. I would have to put them to sleep again, and even if I succeed, I'd still have to fight another Zapdos. This isn't looking good for me. I'm really afraid that even though I've been crazy lucky with the coin flips, my bad luck with drawing cards is putting me in an unwinnable situation. I play my own Professor Oak, try to draw some more cards. I finally do get Exeggutor EX, but it's not really very helpful in this situation. I give it an energy, and I know you watching this are probably realizing that what I should have done was power up my Jigglypuff instead. This was a small mistake, and the kind of mistake you make when you're a little bit new. Why did I go for Exeggutor here? My thinking was that Exeggutor would have the highest possible chance of surviving a Zapdos attack. Maybe it was the right move. Maybe not. Looking back, I probably would have kept attacking with Wigglytuff and then built up a second Wigglytuff on my back line. I think that would have been a little bit better, but I was still learning at the time. And this wasn't a bad move. Unfortunately, Zapdos woke up and was able to retreat. I did plan on this happening. It was the reason for my unusual egg-sighting decision, but because Wigglytuff wasn't attacking anymore, my opponent was completely free to switch into Zebstrika. There's no chance of me putting it to sleep with Exeggutor, so it's free to just chip me down with a Pokemon that can take a hit and then retreat. And then I have no way to finish it off, and it won't give me prize points, because I can't put it to sleep with Exeggutor. I realized I made a mistake. I put the second Jigglypuff on the bench, finally, and do my best to do some damage to Zebstrika. We get heads, which is really nice. It means another hit will take it out. But as we all know, that Zebstrika is not going to stick around. Zebstrika switches into Zapdos. I've got a lot of health. It would take 3 heads to take me out. was the whole reason I had used this tree in the first place. It's so tanky. You're not gonna get 3 heads. Zapdos only gets 2 heads, and I'm able to live. But, once again, because this isn't a Wigglytuff, it doesn't have the ability to put Zapdos asleep. Meaning I won't be able to trap the Zapdos, and what's worse, if I get Tails on Tropical Swing, Zapdos could live for another turn. I have no choice but to use Leaf to retreat into Wigglytuff. And really, Wigglytuff should have been there in the first place. Had I powered up a second Wigglytuff, it would have already been ready, and I could have fought this battle from this point on with 2 fully powered Wigglytuffs instead of just 1. Zapdos falls asleep, which is great, but does it stay asleep? No. Zapdos wakes up. My opponent's bench is looking pretty weak right now, but they are still more than willing to switch into Zebstrika, and this is a critical mistake. Executory X had exactly 30 health. Retreating it only hurt me. Now, I still have 0 prize points and very little hope. I'm in a terrible spot. But looking back, this was a great learning experience, and I'm so glad I had this game. Even if I lose, it's not like I'm out of the tournament. I put an energy on Jigglypuff, and go for Sleepy Song. It's really not as bad as it looks. If Zebstrika stays asleep, oh, poop. If Zebstrika had stayed asleep, I would have had a decent chance of winning. I could have knocked it out, and then the Zapdos would have to high roll to finish me, or I would guarantee finish it, and then I would win the game. Maybe my opponent could have cycled Zebstrikas or something, but I would have had a very good shot of winning. Unfortunately, it woke up. Now I need to survive Zapdos's full attack twice. Is that even possible? Heart of the cards, heart of the coins, heart of Jigglypuff. That's a Tails. That's looking good. A Heads. Oh no. Zapdos got 3 heads. You can't stay lucky forever. Zapdos is able to take me out, and I lose this set against Goves. But I'm still in the tournament. This was only 1 lost set. This was only 1 lost best of 3. I can still do this as long as I don't drop another one. Let's take a look at my next opponent. My next match would be up against a rapid fighting Greninja deck. Bit of an oddball. And after that, we're gonna have to take on a meta Mewtwo deck. Is it even possible to beat Mewtwo with Jigglypuff? I guess we'll find out in the next episode of The Gimmick Sqwuad. To protect the world from meta decks, to stop poor Pidgeys from getting wrecked. These videos take a long time to make, so share it with your friends and you'll have my thanks. This is the Sneaky Dragon, and I'll catch you later.